So, good day everyone. So, the topic that was assigned to our group is all about STEM.
The origin. The first stem, meristem, is organized during the development of the embryo. The fully developed embryo commonly consists of one axis, the hypocotyl root axis. The axis bears in its upper end one or more cotyledons and the shoot primordium, whereas in its lower end, it's bears the root primordium covered with a root cap. Hypocotyl is the first stem unit of plant. Stem is normally divided into nodes and also internodes. Stem and other plant organs arise from the ground tissue.
Stem morphology is simple. Its components are nodes, places where leaves are attached with internodes. Stems are different by the type of phyllotaxis. The phyllotaxis refers to the arrangement of leaves. In this photo shows the difference of the type of arrangement, the alternate and whorled. In the alternate, there are two types, the distichous and Fibonacci spiral, while in the whorled, it has a recusate and tricuspid. Two leaves per node means opposite arrangement. Opposite leaves can be all in the same plane or each pair can rotate at 90. This is the sample of leaves arrangement. Each type of spiral phyllotaxis has its own angle of divergence. Multiple types of spiral leaf arrangement mostly follow the Fibonacci sequence. This is the sample of the Fibonacci sequence. This sequence of numbers made with simple rule in the ever following fraction, the numerator and denominator are sums of two previous numerators and denominators respectively. The sequence looks very theoretical but amazingly, it is fully applicable to plant science, namely to different types of spiral phyllotaxy. The stem's anatomy consists of three tissue systems that work together to support, protect, and aid in nourishing the plant. The stem has three simple cell types, the parenchyma, collenchyma, and sclerenchyma cells. These are responsible for metabolic functions, repairing and healing wounds, and storing starch. As you can see, the parenchyma has a transverse section and longitudinal section. These two sections are both has a cell wall, nucleus, cytoplasm, intercellular space, and vascule. Parenchyma is the ground tissue making up the most of the non-woody parts of a plant. The collenchyma has only three parts, the cell wall, nucleus, and cytoplasm, in both transverse and longitudinal section. The collenchyma is a supporting ground tissue just under the surface of various leaf structures formed before vascular differentiation. This is some parts of sclerid. Sclerenchyma is a mechanical supportive ground tissue in plants consisting of aggregates of cells having thick often mineralized wall. Different tissue systems. First, we have the epidermis. The epidermis is a single layer of cells that makes up the dermal tissue, covering the stem and protecting the underlying tissue. This is the internal part of the stem, which consists the xylem and phloem in the middle, the ground tissue and the dermal tissue, which is the covering of the stem. The vascular tissue consists of complex tissues, xylem and phloem, which carry water and nutrients up and down the length of the stem and are arranged in distinct strands called vascular bundles. The ground tissue it helps support the stem and is called pith when it is located towards the middle of the stem and called the cortex when it is between the vascular tissue and the epidermis. The sclerid reduced form of sclerenchyma cells with highly thickened lignified wall. The lignin is a complex non-carbohydrate aromatic polymer present in all wood. This is the stomata. Stomata is a pore found in the leaf and stem epidermis used for gaseous exchange. This photo shows xylem and phloem, which is the process of carrying the water nutrients up and down and distribute the water and minerals taken up by the roots. The xylem is a vascular tissue in land plants primarily responsible for the distribution of water and minerals, taken up by the roots, also the primary component of wood. The phloem is a vascular tissue in land plants, primarily responsible for the distribution of sugars and nutrients manufactured in the shoot. The trachea is the elongated cells in the xylem of vascular plants that serve in the transport of water and mineral salts. The pith is the soft, spongy substance in the center of the stems of many plants and trees' cortex. The tissue of a stem or root that lies inward from the epidermis, but the exterior of the vascular tissue. Two plant endemic species. First, we have the Attenborough pitcher plant. The Attenborough pitcher plant is a carnivorous pitcher plant native to the Victoria Massif of Palawan. It has an altitudinal range of 1,450 meter to 1,726 meter above sea level. These species grow in legal or magnesium-rich ultramafic soil and mainly in high-altitude shrublands. This plant is dioecious with a slight male bias. Plant poaching is thus detrimental against these species, since the reproduction to take place both sexes must be present. The Kalingag cinnamon mercadoi. Kalingag belongs to the Lauraceae family. The plant species is native to the Philippines, growing in the forest at about 300 to 700 meters and sometimes high elevations of about 2,000 meters. This species grows best in subtropical and medium temperate forest conditions with high humidity and stable mild temperature. The consecutive loss of forests in the Philippines and overharvesting of the cinnamon plants makes it a vulnerable species according to the IUCN. These plant species have a lot of economic importance and also ecological. The species grow and bloom in the same biotype as the forest, adapting to the environmental conditions of the area. Since most of the Philippines land is not under legal protection, the endemic species face similar threats as forest agriculture, urban extension, development, and illegal logging. Endemic species are important for a number of reasons. First, since endemic species have a generally restricted distribution, threats to endemics carry more risk of extinction. Those endemic species are a focus for the conservation of biological diversity or biodiversity. Studying the stem of plant will able to explore us and gain more knowledge on what is the function and importance of this and on how does it helps to us in our life. The primary functions of the stem are to support the leaves to conduct water and minerals to the leaves, where they can be converted into usable products by photosynthesis. The stem is important, especially in economy, because there are thousands of species whose stems have economic uses, and it provides a few major staple crops. The stem will help us in different ways, such as in food stores, protective weapons, chemical factory, vegetative propagation materials, modification as floaters, and carnivorous plants.
Okay, let's talk about the benefits of STEM. One of the examples of STEM is the banana stem. Banana stem, or the flower stalk, is high in fiber content. It cleanses our digestive system, which in turn keeps many diseases at bay. The fibrous inner core of the stalk is eaten after peeling off the outer layer of the stem. So what all does a banana stem do to our health? First, the juice of banana stem
helps in flushing out the toxin from the body. It is diuretic and one the most effective ways to cleanse our system from ailments. Banana stem juice is also a great digestive, which aids bowel movement and also contains good fiber for our gut. Second, it increases the hemoglobin content in our body, as it is rich in iron and vitamin B6. These properties make it an important part of the diet for anemic persons. Third, managing cholesterol and blood pressure. It is enriched with potassium and it is effective to treat cholesterol and high blood pressure. The fourth one, it also has a low glycemic index, which is an important factor for those people who have diabetes. Fifth, if you've got frequently problem with acidity, banana stem juice helps in regulating the acidic level in our body and also restoring balance. It provides relief from heartburn and discomfort and burning in the tummy. The last one for these health benefits of stem is the banana stem is high in fiber and acts as a laxative to ease constipation. For maximum fiber intake, have a banana stem juice without straining it. A banana stem is very effective in treating urinary tract infection, or which we call UTI. The presence of vitamin B6 and potassium and the diuretic properties help to fight urinary infection. Since we are done with the benefits or health benefits of stem, now let's talk about the medicinal properties of stem. Teak stem or the wood of trees or shrubs are used for medicinal properties. In traditional medicine, sandalwood oil has been used as an antiseptic and also astringent. Sandalwood and quassia wood are popular examples. In traditional medicine, sandalwood oil has been used as an antiseptic and astringent, and for the treatment of headache, stomachache, and urinary and genital disorder. In India, the essential oil, emulsion or paste of sandalwood is used in treatment of inflammatory and eruptive skin disease. Now let's move on to quassia. The wood is used as medicine. Quassia is used for treating an eating disorder called anorexia, indigestion, constipation, and fever. It also used to rid the intestines or of various kinds of worms as a tonic or purgative and as a mouthwash.
Ecological benefits. Plant stems are a significant organ for the majority of plant species. Plant stems perform many functions that help plants to grow, compete, and survive across a huge range of environments. Stems can be either fleshy or go through secondary growth and produce hardened wood. Stems perform a wide range of functions that have enabled various plant species to survive in different habitats. Plant stems provide support for leaves, flowers and fruits, and transport water, gases, nutrients, and carbohydrates between leaves and roots. Stem is an important site of photosynthesis for many plants. Another key role that stems play in the success of plants is increasing the height of a plant to increase the amount of exposure it receives from sunlight. Stem involved in most of the organic processes and interactions of plant, ranging from support, transport, and its storage, development, and protection. The stem itself is a crucially important intermediary. It links above and below ground organs, connecting roots to leaves. Photosynthesis activity of the cortical tissues of stems has been documented in studies on various angiosperm trees and shrubs. There are numbers of possible benefits of stem photosynthesis have been suggested but rarely tested. These include the extension of the period of carbon gain in environments with periodic drought. The ability of stems to photosynthesis after leaf loss may promote plant carbon balance and prolong survival during drought. Besides this possible advantage of green stems, little is known about their water cost compared to non-green stems. Form critical base of food chain in nearly all ecosystems. Through photosynthesis, plants with the help of stem harvest the energy of the sun, providing both food and habitat for other organisms. The improvement in STEM research are clearly seen in ecology. Ecology is a synthetic field that is based upon the integration of various other fields to understand how organisms relate to their environment. Tree stems rather than the whole tree were treated as black boxes. As understanding of the physiological ecology of trees improved over last 10 years, and ecologists became aware of the critical role of tree stems. Ecologists have begun to collaborate with taxonomists, morphologists, anatomists, physiologists, and engineers to investigate tree stems in their own right and to incorporate the new data into ecosystem models.
What is environmental protection? It is defined as a practice of protecting the natural environment by individuals, organizations, and governments. Its objectives are to conserve natural resources and the existing natural environment and, where possible, to repair, damage, and reverse trends. What are examples of environmental protection? These partners set voluntary pollution management goals. Examples include conserving water and energy, minimizing greenhouse gases, slashing toxic emissions, reusing solid waste, and controlling indoor air pollution, and getting a handle on pesticide risks. Why is environmental protection important? It is one of the basic prerequisites for the overall development of any country in the world. If economic growth and development are to be established, there is no country in the world that does not want to do so. Biodiversity must be distributed. What is the concept of environmental protection? Environmental protection refers to any activity to maintain or restore the quality of our environment through preventing the emission of pollutants or reducing the presence of polluting substances in the environment. What are the roles of environmental protection? You can take action to protect the environment by recycling, reusing, composting, making better transport choices, reducing your electricity usage, buying local, donating to conservation groups, and avoiding toxic chemicals. Why is environmental protection important, and how can we protect our environment? It is critical to protect the environment so as to reduce the destruction of ecosystem caused by myriads of anthropogenic activities. It is more of a moral obligation of humans to protect the environment from pollution and other activities that lead to environmental degradation.
Based on our understanding about our topic, which is about STEM, we have gained a lot of knowledge, namely, Hypocotyl is the first STEM unit of plant. Studying STEM of plants will help us to explore and gain more knowledge on what is the function and importance of this, and know does it help us in our life. STEM support the leaves to conduct water and minerals to the leaves, where they can be converted into usable products by photosynthesis, and transport these products from the leaves to the other parts of plants, including the roots. STEM help us in food stores, or it helps plants to food store, protective weapons, chemical, factory, vegetative propagation materials, modification as floaters, and carnivorous plants. STEM is important in economy because thousands of species whose stem have economic uses. It provides a few major staple crops. STEM is not only one of the ordinary two structural parts of a vascular plant. It can also be used as a source of medicine. And lastly, STEM help various species for them to survive in different habitats.